Is Xbox Game Pass good for the video game industry or is it not? I think there's clear-cut answers on both sides, and because of that, things are being confusing. I think if you ask any Xbox player, is Xbox Game Pass good for the video game industry? They're going to say obviously yes. Who doesn't like getting Xbox games on day one and not having to pay full price? Who doesn't like having a giant library of games that are available to you at any given time, consistently rotating and bringing in new titles and new IPs, new things to try and new things to play? Why wouldn't you want that? For the price they ask, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Okay, well, you're trading convenience for ownership. With Xbox Game Pass, these are all rentals. If you're someone like me who takes a long time to play a game or plays many games at once and because of that doesn't finish games for a long period of time, I might play a game, play half of it, put it down, play something else, go back to play that other game a couple days later or a couple weeks, maybe even months later and finish it then. With Xbox Game Pass, that's not really viable because a lot of the time you'll go to play a game and then go to play it again 6 months later. That game's not even available there. So is it really that great of a service? I think it depends on the person. Look at the video game industry aside and look at just as a consumer. Yeah, it's obviously great. If you take a family that can't afford video games, you take little Timmy who would only get a video game maybe on his birthday or maybe for Christmas, and he'd be playing 2 games a year and be stuck playing whatever free-to-play games are available. Well, then, yeah, it's obviously amazing for him. Little Timmy now has access to hundreds of games. He's going to be able to try all new genres, all new games, all new IPs that he never would have maybe been able to try otherwise. That might lead him down a road of enjoying a new genre to the point where he becomes a video game developer, or where he just becomes not another kid who just sits and plays Fortnite all day and explores other genres and plays indie games and gets into that whole market. So if you look at Game Pass like that, it's amazing. Speaking of indie games, look at the discoverability. Little Timmy normally would only see the main games that are advertised to him, Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever big AAA game comes out at the time. But if little Timmy uses Game Pass, then all of a sudden, all of the time, he's got all kinds of indie games plastered in front of his face. Games that are amazing, that need more recognition, that need to be tried by more people, especially younger audiences. So you look at it from that point of view, Game Pass is amazing. It does so much things for the consumer. Like I said, a parent who couldn't afford to buy their kid games every week, every month, every year, they just pay for that little subscription and all of a sudden Timmy can play all the games he wants. So from a consumer's point of view, I think it's amazing. But when you look at it from the industry side, I don't think it's so good. Xbox has literally been training people to expect things for free. In a video game industry where we already complain things are too expensive, you don't want the consumer having the mindset of things should be free. That's such an opposite side of the spectrum. You're already trying to convince people to buy games for $70, $60 on a regular basis, but you're going to also offer them, hey, you could just pay for this little subscription service and get the games for free. Obviously, that's Xbox's plan in the first place. They just want people to go into the system and be like, hey, I can just get on Game Pass, get all these games. A lot of games are going to come out on day one right there. I don't have to pay full price for them. Let me just do that. To your average consumer and to your average gamer who doesn't consume YouTube content about video games in the video game industry, they don't think about things like game ownership or how long will I have this game for, or will it be gone off the service next year? They just say, hey, $30 and I get to play hundreds of games at any time I want. That's amazing. But like I said, people are being conditioned to want free games, to want free stuff, to want more for less, which as a consumer myself, obviously I'm into that. Obviously, I don't think we should be paying $80 for games. Obviously, I don't think that they should be selling us blank discs and have to download the stuff afterwards off the internet. Obviously, I want my physical copy to actually be a full game. Obviously, I want ownership of my stuff. Like, I want all the same things, but at the same time, I have to recognize what they're doing is like hard to pass up. But when you look at it on the opposite spectrum, and you look at it from a developer side, and you remove the consumer, how good is Game Pass really? Well, I think for indie games, it's amazing because they're going to get discoverability and they're going to get seen. They make their little one-year game deal with Game Pass or with Xbox. They put their game on there and on nowhere else for a year, and it gets discovered and seen, and that's basically free marketing, and then they're free to put their game anywhere else they want afterwards. Those are really good deals that people can make with Game Pass, and I think that goes a long way for indie studios. So overall, if you look at the industry and you take a step backwards and you look at the video game developers and the video game companies and you look at the actual consumers and you separate the two, I think there's really good points you can make for both sides, but I think when you look at it overall, it's not sustainable. I think they're going to reach their cap, and then when they reach their cap of consumers, that's when they're going to be screwed. And I think they're already kind of at that limit now. There's only so many people you can get to sign up to Game Pass, right? Like there's only so many people that will agree to that service, that will want that. There's only so many people that even want to be in the Microsoft or Xbox gaming sphere in the first place. So that's why they have the whole strategy of everything's an Xbox. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. Your mom's an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. You just play whatever you want now. Okay, so if everything's an Xbox, then what? Okay, what's the point of actually buying the physical hardware? There isn't. Okay, well then that means they're just going to have Game Pass. Okay, so that means they're going to go even harder with Game Pass, which means they're going to push it on even more things. It's already on PCs. It's already on your TV. It's already on your cell phone. It's on your Xbox actual hardware itself. Game Pass is everywhere, and they're only trying to spread it to more places. But if the model isn't sustainable, then what actually happens to Xbox? Xbox isn't going to make physical products for too much longer. I think they got maybe one more generation in them where they got actual Xbox branded. This is Microsoft Xbox's console. After that, you're just going to get things like that new Asus ROG Ally Xbox edition. It's going to have a little Xbox button on it. The way your remote now will have a Disney button on it or a Netflix button. That's the route they're trying to go. They're just trying to have Xbox as Game Pass, and it's everywhere. Everything's an Xbox. You just push that little button on whatever device you have, and that brings it up. And they're just going to have everything eventually cloud streaming, I think, and that's the route they're going down. So I think they're looking at a long-term future, and we're looking at things from a standpoint from right now, and it's like, that's not sustainable. There's only so many people that will sign up. Xbox will get wiped out by PlayStation and Nintendo as far as physical hardware and like your home console unit that goes in your living room. And then what? And then it's just people who will sign up. It's not sustainable. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure Netflix has never actually profited. They're one of those companies where like they're consistently making profits, but they spend more than they make. I don't know how all that goes. I'm not a financial guru, but I'm pretty sure Xbox kind of operates in the same lines, or at least Game Pass, where it's like it's profitable and it's sustainable, but if they don't continuously keep getting new users, then it's not. And I know that they're going to have a user cap at some point, and then what? Their reputation isn't getting any better. There's just, as far as I know, less and less people wanting to jump into anything to do with Xbox because they've shown that they're not reliable with anything they do or say. So where's that going to leave Game Pass in the future? It's going to leave it as, like I said, a weird little subscription model that you can basically download on any device that has the availability to cloud stream, and that's going to be it. They want everything to be an Xbox. You can get Game Pass on PlayStation eventually? Maybe. I don't think it's a sustainable model, though, and I don't think it's good for the industry. And I think that people are expecting free things, and you're training all the people who are just in the Xbox atmosphere to expect and want everything for free, and that's not good. This isn't a video that was supposed to turn into, I don't think Xbox is going to be around in the future, but I don't think Xbox is going to be around in the future. I think it's going to be like a publisher at best. And if you look at the way they're going with their publishing, everything is being fired and every studio is being shuffled and all this restructuring. I think they're going to just start selling off studios, any studios that they have left that they haven't closed down by that point. And they're just going to be a publisher, and they'll keep like a couple of their key things like Bethesda, you know, Activision games, Call of Duty, all that stuff, so they can license them to everywhere and make their money. But I don't think Xbox is going to be trying as far as physical hardware anymore. And I think once they realize the Game Pass model isn't sustainable, I think they're just going to go full publisher. I think they've gone too hard at the Game Pass model now that it'll make them look stupid to try and kind of start to dwindle down from it. And obviously it still makes them money. And that's the number one thing. If you look at investors, they want something like a subscription service. Oh, you already have this many people agreeing to give you this much money every month on clockwork without actually having to give them anything new. Okay, perfect. That's what investors like to hear. That's good for their stocks. That's good for all that stuff. But it's not good for the consumer, and it's not good in the long run. It's not going to last. So honestly, I'll be surprised if Xbox is even here in 10 years. And that's just my predictions. Is Xbox good for the video game industry? No. I don't think it is. I think it's an unsustainable model. I think it's really good for the consumer on a short-term point of view. But overall, in a long-term point of view, it's not, because what's not good for the video game developers is also not good for us. So I think we're training people to want free shit, which is fine, but I think the way that Xbox does it is not good. And I think that's all I really have to say about it, honestly. I think I'm just going to make people mad with this. And looking back on this after saying all this, I don't even know if I'm going to release this video. So if this video does get released, this part will probably get cut out. If it doesn't get cut out, then you can see how conflicted even I am in my own thoughts about this. I think Xbox Game Pass is awesome, and I want people to have more stuff for free and as much stuff as you can possibly get for your money, biggest bang for your buck. I am also a consumer. But I also very much care about the sustainability of the video game industry and the big companies that keep the video game industry going. And I do not think that Game Pass is good for any of that in the long term. So I'm actually curious to see what you guys think. The whole point why I make these videos is so I can have discussions with you guys. So let me know what you guys think about this. I'd really love to have some chats down in the comments. Do you think Game Pass is good for the industry? Do you think it'll last? Do you think Xbox will even be here in a decade from now? What are your thoughts on all this? I'm really curious to know. And that's it. Jump into the Discord if you guys want to hang out and have more talks about the video game industry on a more consistent basis. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I'm out there talking shit all the time. And that's basically it. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I love you guys. I'm out.